Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast. Friday night, talk about City. I'm with my brother Christian. How are we doing, Christian?
Feeling good, mate. It's getting a bit lively in it now, transfer window. So here we go.
Just spoke about United, and there's a quite a lot of activity there. So we're going to do very similar with City and touch on the Champions League a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's dive straight into it. With the transfer is the sort of word on the street a little bit at the minute. So City, just before we sort of jumped on here, you've already spent a fortune in Jan, certainly by City standards, and City are in for a centre mid, Nico Gonzalez, who has a 60 million release clause, euros, 50 mil or whatever in pounds. 40% pay on clause to Barca, which might somehow facilitate Rashford going to Barca. Which
Yeah.
So, Nico Gonzalez, I'm going to be honest, is there a Nico Gonzalez for Argentina? Because when I first read it, I thought
is he a winger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, this guy's a centre mid. I don't know, is he an 8 or a 6 or I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie, I searched it and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, we need a midfielder, not a winger.
Yeah. There's definitely, because I think he was in the squad for the World Cup when Argentina won it.
Yeah.
I just recognised the Nico Gonzalez, but it's definitely not his sport. He's Spanish, and he was obviously at Barca, hence the pay on clause. So you have been very vocal on here about centre mid, and on Wednesday they gave you a very good. They really sort of echoed everything you've been saying for about a month now.
Oh, dude, honestly,
the pod, and yeah, I mean, look, it was. Like you said, you're not overly shocked when you're getting diced up, but when Club Bruges are going through you like a knife through butter, you really are thinking, Jesus Christ, man, we've got to do something. We'll get to it in a minute, but you've got Madrid in the playoff. So what do you think? I mean, again, you're not going to have seen loads of this guy, but I'm guessing you're happy that it's a centre mid.
Look, I'm happy it's a centre mid. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure on the profile if he's the right centre mid we should be looking at. It remains to be seen. I've not seen enough of him to comment. I'm not going to lie. I literally jumped on and watched a few videos of the guy. He looks a neat player.
So box to box or
I'd say that would be because they tend to play another defensive midfielder alongside him. I think Varela. So he's certainly not the man that he's more like the Gundo treble winning season. This is my take on it. He's more like an 8 rather than a 6. So whether Pep's thinking, look, it's another body in numbers. If we can play a double pivot, he's thinking this Nico Gonzalez would be enough alongside maybe a cover, which could be true. However, I just want to go back to what you said and you brought up midweek. That was the most concerning. I mean, I've been banging on, like you said, all year. That was the most concerning game by far. A, because of how it was happening, and B, because of the opponents that were doing it to us. No disrespect to Bruges, but we were getting absolutely diced. So I don't know going forward how Pep was watching that game. At this point, I was thinking you need to get Nico O'Reilly on. I don't know if you've seen much of the guy. And to be fair, he actually fancies himself as more of an attacking midfielder, but he's a big lad. I think he's about like 6'3". He's a powerful midfielder. At that point, I was like, you need to bring someone in. We were getting absolutely slaughtered. I mean, he hooked Gundo at half time.
Yeah, he did.
We could have been out. It could have been 2 or 3. And I tell you what, going forward in this Champions League, it could be one of them situations. Unless Gonzalez comes in and he's really good, it could be a be careful what you wish for because we look like we've got Real Madrid. We have got Real Madrid in the next round. I tell you what, that's going to be interesting to say the least if we don't get a midfield in.
Yeah, because this is the thing with the midfield. So if he is an 8, there's a strong argument you also need an 8 as well as a 6. Rodri's injured, so you need a 6. Kovacic is getting you by slightly, but Gundogan got hooked and Bernardo Silva's getting just trampled on in there. And De Bruyne is nowhere near got the physicality to deal with that role anyway.
Yeah.
So you are light with box to box. So Gonzalez, look, I've not seen him, but if that is the profile, it's not a DM, but it's again, I do think you need him. I mean, it's just the team was crazy to leave out to play the team he did and not go with a winger to cram his favourites in. It's so obvious. Because he had Bernardo Silva on the right wing, just just to shoehorn Silva and De Bruyne in the same 11.
Yeah, Alex, I'm
Right.
sick of it now. At this point, it is actually becoming detrimental to our season, this Bernardo thing, because he's trying to sneak them in. Yeah, you are right. I think he feels an obligation to play Bernardo, Gundogan, and De Bruyne. Not necessarily together, but he seems like he has this obligation to play the minutes. And at the end of the day, we need to look at this. Bernardo is really starting to worry me now because not only is he just not the player, like when he's out wide, defenders aren't even worried about him, and all he is just a body now. When we're up top, he offers absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You know what I actually think's going on? I think Pep thinks I've got to play Gundogan because we're getting overrun, and he's right. Now, this is where Guardiola's struggling. He now has got to make a decision then with De Bruyne and Bernardo, and he won't do it. He won't drop one. So you've seen on Wednesday, he played Kovacic and Gundogan because he's worried about the transitions, and Bruges proved exactly why. But then he goes, I won't play Savinho because I've got to cram them two in. And it's like, Pep, and Foden's now suffering because he's on the left because Bernardo's got to play on the right.
It's a mess all over. You're spot on.
Look, they obviously wore down Bruges, but at 1-1 they were the most dangerous side. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
they made 3 passes in their own half, and it was a 3-on-3 at the back. It was crazy.
You could see as well. I don't know if you noticed this. You could see Bruges fancied it. You know what? They were playing out from the back. They weren't panicking and going long.
Yeah.
They were fancying. Yeah. If we can beat the press, we can seriously get this side, and they did. And to be fair, if they had better finishes at the other end of the pitch, they would have. I mean, there was that lad that they hooked off, and he actually looked quite good. I forgot his name.
Smolix.
Yeah, I think it was that fella. Yeah, and he
was a bit greedy in 1 or 2 occasions, but he was dangerous and he could.
Yeah, there was one where he should have played in the guy to the left, and he took the shot on. Thank God he did, because that would have been 2-1.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean, at 1-1 they were not backing down. Yeah, man, it was. And then the last 20 they ran out of gas, and City got when City went to 2-1, you knew that it was probably okay. But mate, honestly, you're looking at it and you're like. So you've got Real Madrid in the playoff, which we've just touched on. Real Madrid are going to be in these transitional moments with Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo.
Oh, mate.
What do you even do? I mean, okay, let's say Gonzalez improves your midfield. What are they going to do with that? Because Bellingham is very good in transition and he's strong and he can carry it. Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo are very dangerous on the quickest front three in the world, man. I mean,
I don't want to be like depressing or anything. I don't want to be depressing. At the end of the day, we've got through by the skin of our teeth. But you have got to be realistic. We are going up against, like you just said, what do we struggle against the most, especially this season? It is very athletic teams. Real Madrid are like the pumped up version of the City's worst nightmare, and they are the ultimate. So am I concerned? Yeah, even with Gonzalez, it doesn't really move the needle much because, like you said, he might improve us in the number 8 position. But if he's still fannying about with Bernardo and fucking Kovacic, we're still deep in the shit. And by the way, that Bernardo, right? I looked at the lineup. So obviously Savinho was sacrificed to shoehorn Bernardo in, like you say. Now, it made no sense because if you have an obsession with getting Bernardo in, you had to drop Gundogan and you had to play Bernardo central. Not that would have made any difference. They would have still overran us and battered us at the other end. But I'm saying Gundogan and Bernardo they're at very similar stages of the career. So I don't really mind that. If you've got an obsession, if one's got to play, which it seems they have at the moment, I'd rather it be Bernardo in that situation.
It's a really interesting point, isn't it? Because Savinho and Doku are droppable, and Grealish is not even in question of playing. Yeah. But what about Marmoush is going to play, and Marmoush played against Chelsea.
Yeah.
But Guardiola is concerned about this. He didn't play Savinho or Doku because he's worried about Club Bruges' transitions. So you've spent 80 million, 70 million.
Doku's injured.
Doku's injured, okay. But you spent 80 million on Marmoush. Now, what is he going to do? Because is he going to leave Gundogan out and play De Bruyne and Bernardo either side of Kovacic with Foden and Marmoush out wide? That just sounds like complete suicide to me.
I know,
so
and the
he's going to have to drop. What I'm saying is, he's going to have to drop Bernardo at some point.
Yeah,
he has to. Or Marmoush,
What I don't understand with the Bernardo thing, right? We've been watching it all year, and me and you came on after the last game, and I said, Alex, we can't be going in with these same players now. Surely, I thought the penny had dropped. These guys, the old boys, they can't play together because between them, they've not even got enough legs. And I just can't believe he goes in and we're playing athletics. I mean, I can't even trust Pep at the minute that he doesn't put in Bernardo. Imagine he did that same team. Because I think in Pep's head, he thinks if I play Bernardo, Kovacic, Gundo, De Bruyne will have more control of the ball, right, against Real Madrid. I think that's what he would think. However, he's basically thinking that until they get a counter-attack and they absolutely blast us.
Well, I mean, it's a really good point because it's that box of technical players who are good on the ball. But the problem is, you've played Real Madrid a lot recently, and I think it's been quite even, as in the results. You have had the better of it generally, but they have somehow scabbed through a couple of times. But they've had their moments when you've been good, where the transition has hurt you. Rodrigo and Vinicius have got a few goals here and there. Now, people are having transitional moments against City every 5 minutes. You cannot give Real Madrid a transition every 5 minutes. They will be scoring. We're talking, this could be like your 3 away goals again.
Do you know one other team that we did this against, right, who were very athletic and destroyed us, was Bournemouth?
Yeah, Semenyo. Yeah.
So if we go in, right, and that's Bournemouth, no disrespect, because this year they've actually been epic. They've been one of my favourite teams to watch, in fairness. However, mate, there's levels. If you go in, and I'm not saying Madrid are at their peak either, but if you go into Madrid, we all know they get themselves up for these Champions League nights. So if you decide to go in with that same team, that same midfield, them same legs, you are going to get absolutely put to the sword.
Right. Look, I mean, well, I tell you what. Well, we're on the subject. Come on, tell me how you beat Real Madrid in 2 legs, because this is something I wanted to mention. And you just mentioned it then. We're like these teams talking about scraping through. If whoever loses these playoffs have gone out in the group stage, that's what people are missing here. You're not in the knockouts. Yes, it's a knockout, but this is to get to the round of 16.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Club Bruges celebrating the other night. If you lose, whoever Bruges have got, I don't even know who they've got. If they lose in their playoff, you've effectively come third in the group in the old system.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
because you're not gone out in the round of 16. You need to beat Real Madrid to get to the round of 16.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Europa playoff. This is basically what it is.
Yeah. So come on. So obviously,
that all the elite teams have gone into it.
Let's say we don't know what's going to happen with Gonzalez. We can't include that as an option, and we don't know enough about him. What would you do? How would you play? We touched on maybe going a bit more direct. What would you do to deal with Real and their amazing transitional play?
I think honestly, our only option, you've got to bring in someone new into the midfield fold. Like I say, even if it is someone like O'Reilly, you cannot go with the team we saw the other night. If you're talking about tactics, I think the only way, we spoke about hitting Haaland as a target man. I think we've got to do something different. You've got to think, lad, over 2 legs against this Madrid side, do many people, even the most positive of City fans, do any of them really give us a chance?
I mean, look, who knows, mate? It's 2 legs but
like the only way you've got to think
nightmare. If you could make your worst opponent in a computer, you would probably come out with Real Madrid.
Yeah, this is what I say, bro. This is why I've not got much confidence.
We might look stupid if you get through, but
it's a win-win for me.
What you're going to do? You have to. They are going to take more transitional moments, as in they're going to score off them more than most of the clubs in Europe. You are struggling to stop these transitions.
Yeah.
So unless they just have mega off nights, they're going to score. Look, if you had to do an over/under Madrid goals over 2 legs, if they score 4 or less, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to score 5 or 6 across both legs to even, I'd say, get close.
Do you know the only option, right? Do you remember City v Monaco a few years ago?
Yeah, 2016 or 17.
Yeah, and I think did we beat them like 5-4 at home or something ridiculous like that?
I think it was, and then
5-3. You're right. You are right. So I think if you've got to look at what Monaco did to us, they knew we had the more talented players, but they were like, we're fucking good when we've got some talented forwards, and they did at the time. Ironically, they had young Bernardo They had Mbappe, Mendy, Falcao was still there as well. So I think the only thing City can do looking at this is we use our talented forward players. We've obviously just signed Mamouche. He looks a player. I really like him. You've got Haaland and you've got Savinho. You've got to play all three, and you've got to play Foden in his preferred role. Look, if that means De Bruyne doesn't play and you play someone with more legs there, then that's what you're going to have to do. We can't keep shoehorning these players in because of what they have been for us. We've got to look at this as the now. These players aren't the players they once were.
Look, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but it's a big call. You're saying for both legs you would leave out De Bruyne and Bernardo.
I'm not saying I'd leave out both of them. I'm just saying decisions need to be made in terms of you've got to put in your most likely options that could send us through. Now, for me, that is Marmouche has got to play, Haaland, Foden, and I'd say Savinho, especially after his last performance. So, therefore, you've got to have some movement further back. So then Pep's got to decide what that looks like. He cannot put Bernardo in because he thinks we'll have more control over the ball. Because what will happen is, you've got to think what happens when they do turn over possession. You've got Bernardo trying to compete with their sprinters, and that's not going to bode well for us, is it? So
no, it's not as well, and they're decent enough on the ball. I mean, I don't know who plays in there. Is it Tchouaméni, Modric, Camavinga? Two of them with Bellingham, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your opinion then, as a United fan, with everything I've just said? What's your opinion?
If it was me, I would leave out De Bruyne and Bernardo. I honestly would. I think you're wrong. Yeah. I think you're right, and because you think your front three have got goals. I would play Foden, I would play Haaland, and I'd play Mamouche should be my front three.
Yeah.
And then in midfield, you've got to have legs. Kovacic has to play because he's the only recognised DM of any sort. Then I would go Gonzalez and Gundogan, or if you haven't got Gonzalez, put in some sort of athletic midfielder that you might have. If
it'd have to be O'Reilly
or someone. I just think that the risk and reward with De Bruyne does bring you something in the stand and deliver.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much is he going to be able to stand and deliver? Does that offset the counter-attacks? Because if De Bruyne puts a cross in and it gets headed away at the near post and drops to Bellingham is going to be away with three.
No, Alex, you make a great point.
So De Bruyne, like, we're talking, De Bruyne would have to be on delivery, like, his best night of his career just to make it worthwhile playing. So I would be thinking of a midfield three that can work and match them as best you can. I still don't think that they're gonna. I still don't think it's a great matchup. But and then you've got a threat on the. You can't be conceding 4 goals and expecting to go through.
The thing is with them two, it's one's got to come out of Bernardo or De Bruyne because they're luxuries we now can't afford. And to be fair, at least with De Bruyne, he does offer us the stand and deliver that if we are going to play a luxury, it has to be him. Whereas Bernardo, he's become a luxury, but he never was that player for us. He was an absolute workhorse that was an insanely talented dribbler. Now he's struggling to dribble with the ball for, long periods of time, especially through games. We're not getting the workhorse that we once got, because to be fair, I think we've just flogged him into the ground. I think the only thing going forward, you've got to play someone in that role instead of them two. And like you say, he's got to be an athlete. It's either got to be O'Reilly or what about McAtee? Yeah. But the thing is, we need to see McAtee given a chance in Prem games. You can't just throw him into that.
Shout of Savinho and then Foden as a 10. I mean, my only issue with playing that is, and this leads into the De Bruyne argument of playing De Bruyne number. Obviously, De Bruyne or Foden will probably play number 10. I'm not sure either is that good of an idea, purely because. Okay, so say if you're having that conversation with either before the game, and you go, right, when we don't have the ball, you're going to have to do something to help us in midfield. So you go, right, you go and stand on Tchouaméni, right? But the way Madrid play, and because of City's weakness, De Bruyne isn't going to have time to get to Tchouaméni because their tactic is going to be turnover, pass forwards, straight at the back four. So De Bruyne won't be able to get round Tchouaméni because Tchouaméni will be told, as soon as you get that ball, you break the press and get it to Bellingham, who will get it to Mbappe or Vinny. So
I think the best plan.
I think you need a 3, sort of a flat 3.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
you need a number 10. I don't think. I've look. I mean, he's gonna. I don't know. I'd be shocked if Guardiola did what I'm saying, and he's a smarter bloke than me, obviously. But I'm just saying, I don't think there's value in playing a 10 in this game. I think you could lose if you play a 10. You could have it. You could be out in half an hour.
I know, but we can't. Yeah, but what? You can't drop Foden as well,
No,
can
no,
you?
no.
So
Phone on
it's,
the right. I would play phone on the right at Marmoush and say you guys don't have to do any tracking back.
what? And
Forget.
so you're saying leave Savinho out basically,
I would leave Savinho out and he would be my
right?
first sub. And
Potentially, but mate, we've seen recently Foden isn't really delivering from the wing positions.
no,
So, and he's really. That,
yeah,
by the way, just a quick one on Foden. He came out and absolutely. I mean, he blasted Southgate really for
mm,
playing him out of
yeah,
position,
yeah, yeah.
and it was a bit of a strange thing because he did that,
Mm,
and then he gets put out on the wing by Pep, who has pretty much played him there all year. So
yeah.
it's a very odd. I don't know, like is it a message to Pep almost, but through Southgate? Do you know what I mean? So he wouldn't have the balls to ever say anything to Pep. So it's like, do I absolutely blast Southgate, who I have no relationship with anyway, and
It's all
hope
about
Pep listens?
it's about sort of you spoke about the midfield battle and how important it is, and you could just isolate 3v3 in there. How does Foden, Kovacic, and Gundogan stand up to Camavinga, Bellingham, and Tchouaméni?
Oh no,
And
no,
it's
that
and
yeah,
it's not just the 3v3 in there. It's those three Madrid players are going to get it to the next three Madrid players that are
yeah.
rapid. And
No,
it's
I
like
agree.
we have to stop. It's not just winning the midfield battle. We have to stop the Camavinga Bellingham train through our
Yeah,
team. And
I,
I just don't see how Foden or De Bruyne as a 10 works.
I think I do prefer Foden in the middle.
Yeah, of course,
I
yeah.
do hear you, but I'm
Mm,
basing this on look. We don't know if we're going to get Gonzalez. We don't know how good he is. We don't know the level. We don't know what sort of player
yeah,
we'd be getting in Gonzalez. So he could allow us to play, for instance, with a 10 and him in the 8. If he's
yeah.
box to box and he's really powerful, he could really help with transitions. Listen,
Mm,
currently with the this is what I'm saying, mate. Currently with the team we've got, with
mm,
this squad and with the midfield that we would have to put out, whoever you bring in and bring out,
right.
put in, I
Yeah.
don't think it makes a difference. You've got Gundogan, Kovacic, De Bruyne, and
Mm.
Foden. I agree with you that if you mix and match among any of them, we will get beat.
Right. I mean, this is the thing in football. Sometimes you can, as a fan and as a coach, you can debate all you want. Sometimes you just haven't got the tools to go through, and that might be the case in this scenario because it's a shocking matchup. We spoke before the season that Madrid started poorly and Mbappe was struggling, but it was always like, oh my god, Madrid would be a real kryptonite for City. You've got them in the worst time of the season.
Yeah,
February was a shocking fixture run for City anyway. You've now got two Madrid games sprinkled into this shocking month of fixtures.
I know. And if you look at Madrid, Mbappe's really starting to pick up now. He's starting to
Yeah,
hit
he's
form
lethal. Yeah, I mean,
right at
Mbappe's
right at a great time for us. I think Rodrigo's back from injury as well. That
and
may
Bellingham's playing well.
It's
So
peak times, honestly. Yeah,
I'd
Bellingham's
like
picked up massively. So it's
you
a
mentioned Bruges fancying it. Madrid are going to be sat in that dressing room. They're going to look at the whiteboard and they're going to look at their front three and they're going to look at Bellingham as the peak of that midfield and they're going to go, we can go straight through this team. We can go straight through
Yeah,
City.
I agree with you. I think this though, Alex. I think this is the reason I personally would go Foden, and hopefully we'd have Gonzalez or someone in of that ilk that we can put
Mm.
in as well. But the reason I would go Foden behind as a 10, and then Savinho, Haaland, and Marmoush is because at least it gives Madrid something to think about at the other end. At least it
Yeah.
shows
Yeah.
we're capable of hurting them. Mate,
look.
if we go in with Bernardo on the fucking wing,
Mm.
Foden on the other, and Haaland in the middle. That's not looking
Yeah.
great. I'm telling you.
I just wouldn't be playing any of the old boys, and I know it's tough, but and like you said, you could leave out De Bruyne and Bernardo and still get beat. Madrid are great, they've got star power and they've got athleticism all over the pitch, and it's just a bad matchup. But look, you've still got Haaland, you've still got Foden, and Marmoush is going to have had another couple of games under his belt, probably going to be off the mark by then. You can get at them. There's no doubt about that. It's just the turning round and what the hell do you do? But hey, mate, we'll see. I can't wait, honestly, and we're going to probably get into this probably another 2-3 pods worth of getting into the matchup with Madrid. I think it'd be good for us to watch a Madrid game as well on in La Liga and just get a feel for how they actually, because we're looking at it from a sort of what we expect Madrid to be. It'd be great to watch them in the lead up to the City leg.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, Alex, some people that might even watch this and go, "Have you watched Madrid this year?" Because they've not been that great. And I actually agree. I've seen a couple of Madrid games, but we all know, mate, when it's Champions League, when it's the big Champions League night, all of their players are very well aware of what's expected. They do always turn up. Have you ever really watched a Champions League game where Madrid look shit? Like, and by the way, I'm meaning at the latter stages, not if someone's going to come up with like a group game that's nothing.
No, it's a great. I mean, look, it's their competition for a reason. Even when they're rubbish, they win it. It's incredible, and they are going to have belief in this. They're going to be looking at this and going, you know what, this is probably a good time to get City as well.
Yeah,
in a way, like, look, should Madrid be in a playoff? No. Should City be in a playoff? No. But hey, we're here. Let's take City out. I mean, looking at the bracket, I did screenshot it. Just bear with me a second. I thought we could just quickly. Sure. So, looking ahead at the bracket for. You've got City would then play, or Madrid will then play Atletico or Leverkusen, and then Arsenal potentially in the quarters. It's a tough run. Yeah. So, mate,
if we do win it, mate, I tell you, no one could say we've had it easy. So,
well, no, I mean to be fair, like you text me earlier today saying that if City win it, you're going to jump in the sea off a harbour wall from where we used to holiday as kids.
Yeah, so, well, thanks, mate.
That's out here now. In case my phone somehow lost that message, it's on here now. So
we'll live stream it. And I'll do it. I'm telling you, we'll watch the game near the harbour.
This is as close to me rooting for City to win the Champions League as you're ever going to get, just to see you do this. But yeah, mate, it's going to be great. I can't wait to get into it on multiple pods, and I think it's a week and a half. First leg, it's going to be class.
Yeah, listen, mate, the thing is, what I will say is Pep is an absolute genius. He's a lot smarter than I could ever hope to be. Yeah. He will be overthinking this into oblivion probably already, and he will come up with some mad plan. Would it surprise me if Pep can get round them? No. But all I am saying is, based on what we saw in that previous game and what we've been seeing all season, our kryptonite is very athletic sides. They've got a very athletic side, and not only that, they've got good finishers as well. Rodrigo is a brilliant finisher. Bellingham is, and Mbappe is. So we are going to be up against it that night, mate. That's all I'm saying is, I think he needs to bring in a good midfielder, and he needs to adjust the front line, whatever he needs to do. I would go gung-ho, personally, with the front three. At least that gives them some sort of threat transition that way.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. I think whatever you do, it's going to be a great tie. It's going to be the best one of the. I think you've played them 4 times, and so this is the 5th?
Yeah,
but it's going to be the best one, no doubt, because of where you are and where they are. Well, I mean, you know, I had much fun watching you guys, so let me have my little bit of fun, hopefully. But like you said, you wouldn't rule it out. Guardiola is going to be working tirelessly. I mean, this is when you end up with, like, Ortega will start and Edison will play holding midfield. So you wouldn't rule out something insane.
Ortega is one of the 3 in midfield.
Yeah. Is he quite athletic? It's going to be great. So, I mean, look, I think Gonzalez would be it for City in the window.
Yeah.
We don't know loads about him. However, like we said, it could be facilitating a move for Barca to come and get Rashford from my club.
Sure.
Which then allows United to go and do something else. So there's so many dominoes here. If City facilitate a Rashford move, I will be happy for that reason as well. So big few days coming up, and then obviously we're going to be getting into, I mean, you've got Arsenal at the weekend, which hopefully we might, well, if we don't do a watch along, we'll be reviewing it on Monday. Another 100%. Huge game, obviously.
Just a quick one on that. From your point of view, what do you expect of this Arsenal game? Obviously, they've not been in great form themselves. I mean, if we win, by the way, we're 3 points off them. You know, after our worst season ever, and people laughing.
It's at Arsenal
at Emirates.
I'd probably say draw. I think it'll be a draw. Yeah, because I don't think they're. Like, you know, we talk about Madrid being a kryptonite club for City in the way they're built and their sort of profiles across the pitch. I just don't think they are. I think they're strong and they're tough and they'll probably be able to contain you. but I also don't think they'll be able to create much. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
rule out a 1-1 or a 0-0 actually. So that's my
I'd usually
prediction.
say that, but we're going to massively play into their strengths, aren't they? Ultimately, they struggle to create space, but City leave absolute acres. So their wide
Yeah.
players are going to get in some good
And it's a
positions.
must-win. They've got to win. I mean, Liverpool are rolling as it is. I mean,
mate.
how many? God knows how many. If Arsenal lose this weekend, it's surely over. I mean,
It is already, in my opinion.
probably
But
is
yeah,
already.
I just think it's a big game because of the two clubs involved. That they've been ultimately our title rivals, and we're kind of
Yeah.
now in a bit of a playoff for top
Yeah,
four.
yeah, no. I mean, like you said, I mean, the fact you could go 3 points behind is says a lot, and sort of your resilience and the turnaround you've had. A mini turnaround has been good. I just don't. I think it's gonna be a dead tight game. Arteta stinks it up in these fixtures, and I just because City are vulnerable, I just don't think he's
Yeah.
going to go any different. Look, they might win. They might win 1-0. City might win 2-1. It's a very hard one to call. I think Arteta will still be worried about losing enough to not go for it,
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna.
that will equal. And look, let's see what Marmoush does. It'd be quite fun to see him again. But they're gonna have they're gonna have centre back and DM mania.
Yeah,
And I don't think their forwards are that great to score. I know you've no Diaz. Have you still no Diaz?
yeah. Diaz is missing.
So
Diaz Doku
I
out.
mean, look, there's concern at the back for City, but they aren't great up front. So that's why I'm leaning draw. What are you expecting?
I'm going to go with a really bold prediction, right? You'd probably be expecting me to say Arsenal will win. Honestly, I think City will win only because I think the pressure for Arsenal is going to
Yeah,
get to them, and they
yeah,
know how big this game is. And I think everyone's expecting City to lose anyway. And I
mm.
think it's going to. We're a bit of a nasty team to come up against because ultimately you're like, oh, we should beat them. They get run through by everybody, but
Yeah,
they've still got a front three that's absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
Foden's almost scoring every game now. Marmoush looks an absolute fucking live wire. It's not the
Mm.
greatest time to play us, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be
I
an
don't think
interesting
it's a bad
one.
shout. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if you won, because I do think they're in this position where they need to really come out and play you and not do what they've done in recent years, where they've stunk the gaff out and it's been 1-0, 0-0, 1-1, a fucking 2-2 at your ground with
I'm gonna
the
go. I'm gonna go 2-1.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, man, it's obviously a lot of pressure on them, and they will go into complete meltdown. The good
Yeah,
thing is, if you do beat them, they will shit the pants and pay 50 mil for Marcus Rashford. So I'm actually cheering
I
for
know.
you.
Yeah.
Please give us 50
We're doing
mil.
bits for you all over the shop, mate. We could end up
Yeah.
giving them a 40% win falling Gonzalez.
And then they'll
Arsenal
have to
should.
outbid Barca when you beat Arsenal on Sunday. So winner, winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it should be fun, man. The fixtures are absolutely class at the minute, especially for you. I
Oh,
mean,
some hot
we need to
ones.
pin your February up on the wall. I mean, it is just, it's every four.
I could think of better posters to put up on my bedroom wall, buddy.
Yeah. Every 4 days, you've got an amazing fixture. So with
Oh yeah, but they're not good for me.
yeah. The thing is, though, you've already beat Chelsea. You've got them out the way. So if
Yeah,
you
that's
know, it's the Madrid one that being chucked in the mix has really made it look worse. But let's see.
yeah. Hopefully, man. Hopefully, we can get to that Madrid game as well. We're looking at trying to do a little match day vlog, aren't we? So if we can do that,
Yeah.
it'll be sick for the channel as well.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I'd absolutely love to. Yeah, we'd love to do that. I mean, we're definitely going to do the derby at Old Trafford, but that is a bit
Yeah.
off. So yeah, it'd be. I mean, if not, we'll 100% be doing watch-alongs for those games. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
if we're not, but yeah, hopefully we could potentially get there and yeah, maybe do a bit of work outside the ground, bit of content, and see
Yeah, man,
a
definitely.
little bit like different from what we've been doing for the last month, which is great. So yeah, I mean, I think we should wrap it. I think that's everything. Bit in the transfers, bit of the Champions League preview, and we've got another 10 days before the first leg. So
Yeah, man, we'll see. Honestly, it's
gonna be
exciting times in it, so we'll see what's ahead.
it is. Okay, thanks for joining us, guys, and we will see you after the weekend or during the watch along Sunday. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers for listening.
See you later.